What do you think of that oversized load? Pretty sure that's a steering trailer in the back with all 4 of its axles. I don't know how you steer 4 axles though, so maybe I'm wrong. Yep, there's a "that's what she said" joke here somewhere. Here comes his twin brother. That's gotta be a steering trailer. That one only has 3 axles. Guess that's all of them. Oh, by the way, I'm headed to Butner, North Carolina, and I'm 343 miles away. I'm still in York, Pennsylvania, headed south on 83. I have a heavy load of ice cream, and I'm almost down to the Maryland line where the scales are. Oh, there's something interesting. A police pickup. I just turned on the camera because the scales were coming. And all kinds of interesting things are happening. The Chinese blessing and curse is, may you live in interesting times. And we got that. We definitely have that in spades. I was thinking just this morning that the world is going to do something big and interesting, and the powers probably aren't going to like it, but all of the creative, light on their feet people are going to be fine. Oh, look at that. He didn't see that until right when he got there. I'm sure he looked over to make sure nobody was in the lane next to him. Stuff like that makes you wonder how much attention people are paying to their driving. I figured they'd have to pull over before they got to the scales. 1 3-axle trailer, 1 4-axle trailer. For whatever reason, you always see them pulled over before they cross, or just after they cross the state line. They may be required to, that's what I'm assuming. They looked like they were making sure they were up to snuff before they had to go over the scales. I know I'm pretty close to up to weight, so I figured I'd turn the camera on in case anything interesting happened. Oh, there's something else interesting. Oh, we dropped an easy boy. It had a love seat with it, I think. Is that open? I didn't even see. You could probably tell me if the scales are open. Which way do they want me? Ah, they want to weigh me. Stop until signaled forward. Pull forward slowly. Stop here. I'm on in the back. I can let the brakes off because the scales are always level. What did they tell me? The suspense exit! Haha! Suspense was killing me there. Beautiful places always inspire me. I'm headed north from Burlington, North Carolina. I'm supposed to get to Aberdeen, Maryland. But I don't have to deliver till tomorrow, so I don't have much of a time pressure. I'm here in Aberdeen now, and there was no time pressure because I got here in the door just after 5 a.m. and now it's 7:30, and they only had to take 3 skids off. But it's one of those food places where there's a lumper, so they get, what, $150, $250 to take 3 skids off and make you wait 2 hours. But you know, that's how it goes. Boy, I look really blurry. Must be because of the early morning light. I've been thinking of my mental health journey in terms of diet. I've seen what I need to do to be happy and powerful, effective. And I've seen how to do it. I've explored all the ways, just like a diet. I figured out what I need to do to get to my goals. And like Jeff Cavalier says on athletenext.com, a diet is permanent. A diet isn't temporary. He doesn't like to use the word diet because it means you'll do it for a while. But he advocates for choosing something that you can keep going with. And the discipline required for some kinds of diets is too much. It's just not possible. It's not feasible. We won't keep doing it. We have to take into account what we're able to sustain versus what we're able to do for a short time, like a fad diet. So for me, I've laid it all out for myself in terms of what I need to do to be healthy mentally, emotionally. I've figured out how to banish fear. I've figured out how to take control of my own emotions, regardless of what's happening in my life. I figured out how to drain unwanted emotions. I figured out how to keep things in perspective so that I see, if anything really matters, what it is that really matters. And I also have figured out how to expect miracles, how to expect beneficent treatment from the universe. And so then it looks like maintenance. If I want to lose 15 pounds, I figure out where the calorie balance is and I just stay on it. I don't go radically into deficit. I just stay a little bit under what I need on a daily basis, and over weeks and months, I'm very disciplined that way. I'll get myself just to the weight I want to be. And that's where I am now with my weight. And if I get to that place, I can be vulnerable health-wise. I can get sick if I get too thin. And then there's also, my collarbones look too bony and my face looks too gaunt. And so there's a place where I want to stop losing weight and I want to maintain. And I'll eat more than I need for a couple of days because sometimes my body gets into a place where it just wants to keep losing weight. So I'll instead of a deficit, I'll have a surplus of calories for a couple of days, and then I'll figure out how to just kind of maintain. And that's what I want to do with my mental health. I know what to do, and I want to keep it up. I want to keep maintaining so that I don't slip into the old habits of knee-jerking. When something presents itself, whether it's the crazy metaphysical way or just a habit, when a thought presents itself that I should worry, a suggestion that I should worry about something, that I should be afraid of something.
Be in any of the 3 left lanes.
Because look, this is worthy of worry, right? And so on my maintenance diet, I figure out how to shift and keep shifting and keep shifting and just maintain my mental health, maintain a lack of anxiety. And if there is a cabal in my head, they get really upset. They get anxious if I don't get anxious, because then there's no control. And if you look at the real world around us, if you look at the cabal of psychopaths who run the world, they would get very anxious if we stopped being afraid of them. They would know what to do, because that's how they rule us. So if in my own psyche is a kind of ruler or a cadre of rulers that want to keep me under control, they are going to be very nervous. People in my life, if they're used to controlling me by making me anxious, they're going to get anxious if they see that I'm not anxious. So maintenance isn't as easy as it sounds. It isn't easy with your diet, and it isn't easy with your mental health. It takes 21 days at least to establish a pattern. And it's tricky because it's kind of a balancing act. And if there are adversaries, and there are in the physical world, if not the metaphysical, then they will come up with new ways to disrupt us, or me anyway. And then I'll have to adjust. I'll have to be light on my feet. I'll have to figure out how to continue not being afraid. I don't know why I feel this way, but I have a feeling that a lot is at stake. And that's not just my life. I feel like with every life, a lot is at stake if people who have been anxious and easily controlled stop being that way. Any life that goes from being controlled externally to being controlled by the person can make a hell of a difference in the world. One life can make a big difference. And that's what everyone says they want. Liberty, freedom, personal freedom, collective freedom. And there isn't any way to get that without banishing fear. So this is a diet worth maintaining, even if it's very difficult. We have to figure out how to do it. At least I'm going to figure it out. And I'll let you know how it's going. These long road trips where I'm driving 5 or more hours at a stretch are really good for this kind of work. You figure out what things mean and you chew on them. You can chew a long time on one idea without feeling rushed. You have that luxury. And thinking, having time to think, is a luxury. And usually we squander it on our cell phones. We squander it on television or binging on Netflix. We squander it on things often that are prepared for us by the powers. So at the risk of sounding like a woo-woo conspiracy theorist, if you think about it that way, you see our cell phones have been designed by the powers, and television and movies, for sure. The CIA figured out how to use movies to its advantage way back in the 40s or 30s even. before the CIA was even the CIA. So you're spending a lot of time occupying your mind with things that have been designed by the powers. I could do it while I'm driving if I wanted to. I could listen to things on YouTube if I didn't watch them. I'm listening to just nothing music that's trying to keep tunes out of my head, because I always have tunes in my head. And that's on YouTube. What I'm listening to right now is streaming on YouTube. But I could listen to books, and if they're good books, that'd be great. I could listen to good books. But I prefer my own solitude. I prefer my own thinking, conversations with myself. And then other people that try to interrupt and intrude on my conversations. The cabal I always talk about. I feel like I have a good chance to keep them at bay when I'm out on the road. Even with traffic, even if I have to think about where I'm going, it's not that difficult to keep my own compass when I'm thinking. Teaching is pretty helter-skelter in terms of keeping your own thoughts together. I remember being a middle school band director and choir director, and I didn't have a lot of time to reflect. That's putting it mildly. This is a beautiful place. Falls Lake is where we are right now. Places like this inspire me. And I feel like if I figure things out in this kind of setting, I'll take that discovery into the more helter-skelter setting, like if I'm delivering in New York City. And as I figure things out in my solitude, hopefully present them to myself so I can watch these videos and remind myself of how to do it. But I also can share. Here's Butner, North Carolina. That's where I delivered yesterday to a Food Lion warehouse. And then I went on south to Burlington, spent the night there, and delivered this morning in Burlington. And now I'm headed towards Aberdeen, Maryland. I have 2 stops, one in Aberdeen, Maryland, and one in Milton, Pennsylvania. And then those I'll make tomorrow morning. And then I'll come home. Probably have an afternoon to myself. Wow, this is beautiful. So as I was saying, I hope to present things to myself clearly enough that other people might be able to see and understand and have some assistance on their own mental health journey. And there is a better moment than this moment right here to look at these leaves in this corridor. I don't know, it may be the best day of the best year ever to see all these colors. So that's encouragement to live in each moment, and the perfection of each moment exists in all the other moments if we pay attention. So do your best and pay attention. Look at your children's faces when they talk to you, and your grandchildren's. Look at everybody's life as though you were them. Let kindness rule. And you'll be living right now. Not in your cell phone, not up in the clouds somewhere. Not many clouds today though. And you'll get where you want to go by by realizing that you've always been there. I was determined not to go through DC if I could avoid it, but